Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Yasodhanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Prajajana Ranjana Amunatira Manachari Jamunatira Manachari Adha Madhava Gunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Gunja Bihari Gopi Janavangalabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Bhaja Janarandana Yasodanandana Bhaja Janarandana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Radha Gasta Kunja Vijahari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Shri Radhe. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nastapaya Subhadre Nitya Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistaki. Okay, so a reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Canto 6, Chapter 11, verse 22. Pumsa kila kanta diyams. No, not that one. Pumsam kila kan. No, not that one. What's you know the meter? Oh, it is. It is okay. Pumsa kila kanta diyams sakanam. Yes, sampada divipu. Okay, I think it's this one. Pumsam kilakanta diyam svakanam. Yes, sampado divipuma rasayam. Naratiya dvesha udvega adir. Mada kalivyasanam samprayasa. Sakilakanta diyam svakanam. Yasampado divi bhuma rasayam. Naratiya dvesha udvega adir. Mada kalivyasanam samprayasa. What's it? Okay. Humsam, unto persons. Kila, certainly. Ekantadiyam, who are advanced in spiritual consciousness. Svakanam, who are recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his own. Ya, which? Sampada, opulences. in the upper planetary systems, Bhumao in the middle planetary systems, Rasayam and in the lower planetary systems, Na not, Rati bestows, Yat from which, Dvesa envy, Udvega anxiety, Adi mental agitation, Mada pride, Kali quarrel, interest, Kali Yuga, um, Vyasa. So if you didn't remember anything from it's word for word, this is a nice one. That Kali actually means quarrel, like Kali Yuga, right? Age of quarrel. Um, that's interesting because then if you think like, okay, I'm in the age of quarrel, like it's named the age of quarrel, then you won't be surprised when quarrel happens. Vyasanam, distress due to loss. Samprayasa, great endeavor. Translation. Persons who fully surrender at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and always think of His lotus feet are accepted and recognized by the Lord as His own personal assistants or servants. The Lord never bestows upon such servants the brilliant opulences of the upper, lower, and middle planetary systems of this material world. One possesses material opulences in any of these three divisions of the universe, his possessions naturally increase his enmity, anxiety, mental agitation, pride, and belligerence. Let me read that sentence again. When one possesses material opulences in any of these three divisions of the universe, his possessions naturally increase his enmity, anxiety, mental agitation, pride, and belligerence. Thus one goes through much endeavor to increase and maintain his possessions, and he suffers great unhappiness when he loses them. In purport, in Bhagavad Gita 4:11, the Lord says, Yeyata mam prapadyante tam satai vipachamyaham mama vatmanivartante manusya partha sarvasah. Quote, as devotees surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. End quote. Both Indra and Vritrasura were certainly devotees of the Lord, although Indra took instructions from Vishnu to kill Vritrasura. The Lord was actually more favorable to Vritrasura because after being killed by Indra's thunderbolt, Vritrasura would go back to Godhead, whereas the victorious Indra would rot in this material world. Because both of them were devotees, the Lord awarded them the respective benedictions they wanted. Vritrasura never wanted material possessions, for he knew very well the nature of such possessions. To accumulate material possessions, one must labor very hard, and when he gets them, he creates many enemies, because this material world is always full of rivalry. If one becomes rich, his friends or relatives are envious. For Ekanta Bhaktas, unalloyed devotees, Krishna therefore never provides material possessions. A devotee sometimes needs some material possessions for preaching, but the possessions of a preacher are not like those of a karmi. The karmi's possessions are achieved as a result of karma, but those of a devotee are arranged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead just to facilitate his devotional activities. Because a devotee never uses material possessions for any purpose other than the service of the Lord, The possessions of a devotee are not to be compared to those of a karmi. Shilpapa ki jai. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapita Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tatati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raguna Tam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Shakam Vitamscha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Um, Hare Krishna. So you never know who's going to be at Bhagavatam class. So it's always a surprise. Anyways, so wonderful instructions here about the um, nature of devotional service and how it reminds me. This verse in purport remind me of uh, that book Prabhupada. There's a book that was compiled. Who who's who's crazy? Um, because some people might think that the devotees are crazy, and but the devotees obviously think that every if you're not a devotee, you're crazy. Um, but just the nature of this verse, because it's saying, uh, like, okay, like if you open your news feed, you get all these things: how to make money, how to be more successful, how to increase your wealth, increase your investments, like And now we're hearing like this verse is pretty much saying, uh, don't increase your investments, don't increase your wealth. These things, instead of the things that are advertised that okay, yes, if you have wealth, you're going to be so happy. If you have wealth, then you're gonna yeah, then that's all you need. But here we're seeing no, well, actually, what does wealth cause? Enmity, anxiety, mental agitation, pride, and belligerence. That's interesting. Belligerence. One becomes belligerent by their wealth. Um, that's like, like, probably best to look it up. But when someone is intoxicated, they become like, um, li- not bewildered, but they become like insensitive to everyone and kind of like rude and. But let me see. Let me just make sure. Belligerence. And let's just go with F and yeah, pretty much yeah. Is someone is trying to like like becomes like very proud and like like the guy the drunk guy at the party. We say that guy is belligerent. Um, and there's a story recently. This rapper. a famous rapper, and he went to jail or had some charges placed against him because apparently because of some misconduct with like his like workers, especially some female workers. He was like being whatever, just treating them in inappropriate ways. And so after this came out, then after this happened, then people who worked for him were saying that yeah, he had become like he had just because he had so much wealth and power, he had just become like um, yeah, he just become belligerent. Like he thought he was like some great king, and like literally he was just molding his life, and he wanted everyone to treat him pretty much yeah like he was some great king. Um, and so yeah, this is an example. Someone just became belligerent, and then what happened? Then he took it so far that now like yeah there was like sexual uh, misconduct charges placed on him. So um, amazing that this is the yeah, this is like in a sense against, I mean it is completely what we don't want, what we are not wanting in devotional service. It's nice actually, even the Amish, they have this term. It's I can't remember, it starts with a D. But what it is, it's they don't want to act out of pride. Good morning. Hey Krishna. Hi. Uh, yeah, the Amish, they don't want to act out of pride, so it's actually it's embedded in their kind of like codes of conduct to act very humble and meekly. Um, and actually, even more fun facts, even if they start gaining too much wealth, then the central church would be like, you got to calm down, like you gotta stop, pretty much, yeah, you gotta stop making more money because they know if one gets more and more money, one will actually become intoxicated by such things. We're talking about how we're talking about how wealth is not good. Um, so yeah, it's amazing because this, as devotees, we actually want to develop the opposite of these qualities um, that we're learning here that wealth can lead to. Um, I was describing how this rapper he became he yeah he had so much wealth that he actually started becoming belligerent. Like in this verse, it's saying that wealth actually increases enmity, anxiety, mental agitation, pride, and belligerence. So there's one rapper. I don't know if I should say his name, maybe not. If you ask me after class, I'll say it maybe. But, yeah. So as devotees, we actually um, this is the opposite that we want to the opposite qualities that we want to obtain. And because of that, then as we're seeing here, actually Krishna keeps the devotees in Krishna does whatever is favorable for the devotees' lives. And um, yeah, it's like you can imagine if your kid oh, like I remember, since I heard your music teacher, I'll tell this story. Like I grew up playing the trumpet, and God, it was just like, it's like I started taking private lessons when I was in second grade. So it was just like every week, private lesson, this practice, that practice. I have to do my own, you know, practices from those books. What was that book? Essential Elements. They still have that's still yeah. God, Essential Elements. Yeah. Yeah. So just like and I was just so sick of it, and so I wanted to quit, and then my mom, she told me, she said, you know, it's up to you, but uh, if you quit, then you're probably not going to be able to get into the middle school that all your friends are going to. Because there was a middle school that was close to me, and this middle school was like known for being pretty rough and they had segregated classes, like the men and women would be in separated classes. So I probably didn't want that more than the rough part. Um, but and then there was a school a little further away that was like that pretty much, yeah, most of my friends were going to. So she said, you know, if you give up trumpet, like you might not be able to get into this school that all your friends are going to. And so I was like, oh, okay, fine, I'll play the freaking but play my trumpet. Yeah. Um, so in this way, this is an example of how she kind of did what was best for me, even though at the time I um, I couldn't see, but yeah, it was really good for me because then with that, opened up so many other things. Like I was able to play in all these groups in high school, and that kind of kept me very grounded. And then even in college, I was able to start this reggae band, and that was like very good for my confidence. And so yeah, it was a good thing. Um, but I actually don't think it would have mattered if I played the trumpet or not. I think I would have gotten to the same school. Uh, but whatever. She told a little white lie, but the result was beneficial. So in that same way, Krishna acts in our lives for those, yeah, for his devotees. And there's the famous verse that when Krishna favors one, then he actually takes away all one's opulences. Because yeah, then in that state, then what is one is just left like okay, Krishna, I have nothing. Uh, let me just pray to you. Um, so I remember also when I first joined the temple, and then I was there like 2 weeks, and then I was thinking, okay, learned everything I have to learn. It's time for me to go, spread my enlightenment around the world. I'm trained up now. I had like I think maybe not even a week, but I'm ready now to go face the world. So where was the first place I went to? Not Las Vegas, but almost as bad. Um, what's that place called? Mardi Gras? Where's New Orleans? Yeah, New Orleans. Oh, yeah, that was the first place I went um, to test out my enlightenment. So I go to New Orleans, and immediately it's like, yeah, just immediately just forgot everything I'd learned and started doing all the things they told me not to do. And yeah, so but I did go to the temple there. The temple there, the Sunday feast has a line like literally around the block of people coming for prasad. That was cool to see. But so I was there in New Orleans, and then I was like, okay, I want to go somewhere. I have to go somewhere else now because I was staying with friend from college's my friend from college's brother, and it was just like they have this saying that yeah, after um the guests shouldn't overstay their welcome. Of course, we love you here. Please stay forever. We're built for guests, so it's but if you're staying in someone's house. you kind of start feeling like, yeah, I'm maybe overstaying my welcome now. So I started feeling that, and then uh, so I was looking on Craigslist. I was like, okay, I got to go somewhere, and so I was looking on Craigslist rideshare, and um, I was like, I'll go anywhere, because I didn't at that point I was just kind of traveling in life anyways, didn't have any obligations or anything. I was like, okay, I'll go anywhere. I just like I'm feeling like I have to kind of like leave this person's house. And the only place I could go to was back to Atlanta, which was the temple where I, got my training, my, half a week Bhakti training. And I was like, okay, well, I guess this is the only ride available. I guess I'm going back to Atlanta. I guess I'm going back to, and if I go to Atlanta, where am I going to stay? I guess I'll stay in the temple. So went back to the temple, um, and then, yeah, guess I never, I never looked on rideshare again for another place to go. I always stayed in, uh, yeah, never left since then. So, but yeah, I really took it as like, wow, Krishna, like, whew, thank you, you really, you did what was best for me and my spiritual life. Um, what was this point here? Um, and yeah, of course, while in the ashram, you feel these like urges, like, okay, I should go out, um, I should like maybe go to reconnect with my friends, or maybe start, um, like what am I doing? Like maybe I should start building up some wealth. Um, but then this devotee who trained me up, he he told me, he said, no, best thing is first, if you develop yourself spiritually, then uh, you'll be able to deal with the material world better. Um, um, so he was making that point that, if you go out and if you go out and take care of yourself materially, you might not actually be able to develop like these spiritual qualities that you want. But if you, that was like his mantra. He'd always say that, like strengthen the spiritual, and then whatever material necessities will actually come. And it's interesting because it's not actually that, okay, if I develop uh my spiritual strength, then I'll actually get more money, like um what is that, give me a house by the sea, Jai Jagadish Hari. Yeah, so most people, right, they're praying to God, like, God, please give me this wealth. um like, yes, I'll come to church I'll come to church, or I'll perform this ceremony. Like in India, there's so many temples. But why are people going to these temples? Because they know, if I worship this god, then I'll get some money. Um, so so generally, people engage in like religious activities for that purpose. Mm. But for the devotee, as we're hearing, it's not that we're actually going to gain more wealth by becoming spiritually advanced. But what we are going to gain is our satisfaction, and our desires will decrease. So it's almost like, um God, this is a terrible example, but I'm just gonna say it anyways. Like when someone does when someone does drugs, if they do a lot of drugs, then their tolerance decreases, right? So then it takes them more like let's just say alcoholic, to make better example. Uh, if alcoholic, yeah, he has to drink more in order to be satisfied. Whereas if someone like starts drinking, is new to drinking or didn't drink for a long time, then he will get intoxicated with much less alcohol. So what? So we're as devotees, by taking to this process, it's not that our material wealth is increasing, but our satisfaction in life and our ability to be satisfied is becoming easier. Did that make any sense? Okay, okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Um, I need like reaffirmation like at least every 4.5 minutes. Um, no, okay, yeah, so it's interesting because yeah, it- um, you actually start becoming satisfied with less, like you just um, are able to be content with less. So it's quite an amazing thing, and like there's this saying that uh, Mother Earth, she can provide she can provide enough for everyone's need, but she can't even provide for one person's greed, right? So um, material desires. There's that example. It's like a fire, and you think, okay, if I just if I just pour some, if I just feed into these material desires, then they'll go away, right? Seems to make sense. But actually, what you're doing, the analogy it's given, it's like you're pouring fuel into the fire. And so, when you pour fuel into a fire, like it might go down for a little bit, but then what happens? Then it comes back even more. And then, excuse me, and then, yeah, so the more fuel you put into this fire, actually, the more that it grows. Similarly, the more we feed into our material desires, uh, thinking that, okay, yeah, I'm just like satisfying this itch. But then actually what's happening is uh, those desires are increasing more and more. Um, so the yeah the whole and so the whole world is basically uh, running on this, increasing this fire. Yeah, let me increase my fire. This will make me happy. Um, but you know, fire burns, so, and not only is it burning you, but you're also, in order for you to gain materially, generally you're pushing someone else down also. Like yeah, even you know even that innocent even that innocent shirt you got from Walmart. Yeah, so many people are suffering for that. Um, so it's amazing, yeah, to think that yeah, the devotees are actually trying to decrease these desires, decrease this greed, and um, and if more people did that, like what would be the effects of it in the world? It'd be just monumental. Um, so it's really, yeah, like every every Bhagavatam class in the morning is like it's all these things wrapped into one. It's like it's the UN, what do they call it? The green, what's those climate conferences they have? Um, they have them like every few years. Whatever. Every Bhagavatam class, it's actually like a climate conference. It's it's a it's a AA meeting. It's a self-help meeting. It's a emotional regulation meeting. Um, because yeah, all these things are obtained by this simple process. Okay, that was 4.5 minutes. Can I get another confirmation? No, I'm just kidding. Um, yeah, so it's just very powerful in this verse that how we're seeing that um, Krishna in our life, like this last sentence, once one becomes a devotee, then uh, Krishna kind of like, yeah, takes control of that life, and then even it's saying the possessions of a devotee are not compared to those of a karmi, so they're of a completely different nature. So yeah, there's the thing that we say this word. You get your Krishna karma. Um, so Krishna starts acting in your life in a way to, like bring you closer to him. Um, and yeah, whatever way that might be. Um, the examples given, like Krishna, becomes like a witch that haunts you. Um, and there's stories that like one devotee he went he tried to he was a devotee for a long time and did very sincere service, and then he's like, okay, I'm gonna go out and enjoy in the world. So, you know, got some girl, uh, was at a club or whatever restaurant, and things were leading to like that, going the next step, getting that so-called pinnacle of enjoyment. You know, what people hope will happen, yeah, maybe at the end of the date. So it's getting towards the end of the day. Things are going well. His plan seems to be manifesting. And then what happens? Someone just comes out of nowhere off the middle of the street and just punches him in the head. And he falls unconscious. And then, yeah, no, I don't know. The girl probably just split on him. But yeah, it was interesting. It was like Krishna's like, nope, sorry, you're not gonna. I'm not gonna let you do this because it's gonna uh, take me away from me. Or another story I heard is that w- one devotee, yeah, he decided, okay, I want to enjoy in the world. So went to a he went to a club and picked up some girl. He's going home. He's walking home in London, and then it's like around 4 a.m. and he's got this girl on his arm and he's walking down the street, and then he looks over and he sees it's the Hare Krishna temple, and it's like 10 minutes before Mangalarti. It's like, yeah, yeah, 4:20. And so he's like, oh my. And so he starts thinking like Krishna, are you behind this? So he pulls out a coin and says, okay, I'm gonna flip this coin. If it's heads, I'll go to the temple. If it's tails, I'll like continue with this girl. Flips the coin, sure enough, it's heads, and yeah, all right. So it goes to Mangalarti again, whatever. So very interesting um, how yeah, how this can work, and how um, Krishna can kind of like out of his mercy, just like the mom convincing her son to continue playing music, or the mom has to like trick the kid how to take the broccoli. Was Ryan a picky eater? No? Yeah, I can guess that. But yeah, so just like that, Krishna will do in our life what is best for uh, our spiritual life, and sometimes. are sometimes that might be disappointing to our, material life. Um, yeah. So, okay, time flies when you're speaking about fun. Um, okay, maybe I'll stop there. There's about 10 minutes left. If you guys like to share any realizations on this, Tina Palke, of realization? Okay, Tina Palke has a question. Yeah. Mm, mm, so okay, so if I heard you correctly, you're saying it like the concept of karma yoga is there in that, we have these desires, so we kind of like give into them, but then we also hear about like the fire and how feeding into the desire will actually just increase them. So so why are we why is there this process where we kind of like do give in to some material desires, uh, if it's just gonna kind of increase the fire? Is it? Mm, mm. So that there's like there. Okay, I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I want to say that it's just a matter of. So she's saying that two people might kind of lean into their desires in like an authorized way, but one might come out purified, might come out putrefied. So yeah, um, I mean it seems like uh, the application. I mean, just thinking, yeah, the application had something to do with it. Um, do you guys have any realization? I mean, I can meant to speculate, but if you guys have some actual realization about this.
I'm not sure if I understood this properly.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
So, if I understood, we are talking about desire. the quality of desire. Correct? So as we discover the culprit here is desire, it depends on the quality of our desire. Like one person, like Srila Prabhupada give example where the devotee, the devotee and person who is not devotee, and they have um, garden, and devotee in his garden, he looks exactly like this non-devotee in his garden, and they doing the same thing. They trying to cultivate their gardening, and somebody who don't know the quality of the lifestyle, they can see, oh, they are the same people. He's doing the same thing. He looks exactly the same way like this person on the other side of the fence. And so, what is the big problem? They are looking the same. They're doing things exactly the same. There's no any difference between them. However, Srila Prabhupada explained that devotee maybe looks the same like non-devotee, and they're doing the same thing as non-devotee, but actually there's humongous difference between this devotee and non-devotee. Why? Because devotee desire to work for Krishna's satisfaction and obtain all these results of this hard work for Krishna's satisfaction. Whereas this person who is non-devotee, he have completely different approach. His motivation is very different. His motivation is very selfish. I'm doing this work to enjoy, that I can be happy. And I will utilize the sweet fruits of my hard work to enjoy and rally the result of my work. It's completely different scenario. So similarly, devotee, I can bring another example Srila Prabhupada gave, like scalpel. Scalpel in qualified hands of a person who is qualified means saving life. Scalpel in the same hand, in the same scalpel in hands of person who is unqualified means danger. Not only for somebody else, but also for himself, because he don't know what to do with it, and it's very sharp. So devotee who is experienced, like in case when he was describing that his Bhakta leader uh, recommended Dasya Prem Prabhu when he was on the very beginning of Krishna consciousness. Better if you can stay and learn, become spiritually stronger, and then go outside to face this material world. Because material world is not la la land. It's very tough. It's like severe struggle for survival. So So therefore, first things first. First, we want to become spiritually strong, spiritually mature. It's like mother when she was taking care of him. He called this, light lie. I would call this sweet, intelligent care because because mother naturally love her child, so therefore she's using his intelligence what to do, how to do everything to inspire my child for the benefit that maybe child due to immaturity, lack of knowledge and experience is not able to see benefits now when she or he is very small, but if I inspire him somehow, like I have, I was very difficult eating. So my mother was trying to find many different ideas, open your mouth because the airplane is going and need to land in the airport. Open your mouth. This is that. I was so many different things. I can call it, she is liar. It was not airplane. Well, but she was she was out of her love and care, trying to convince me in some way, inspire me to do something, beneficial for myself. Although I didn't see this in that time, but she being more mature, more knowledgeable and experienced, she was trying to take care of me in such a way that would be beneficial ultimately for me. So therefore, on the very beginning, we are learning what was today verse giving us, that if we in mature way, spiritually immature way, we will cultivate the same desires like in material world. Yes, let's go for wealth, enjoyment, this and this. Let's enjoy life, you know. So then it will be so destructive for us if we have spiritual inclination, because we don't understand what is material world all about, what is desire, and what is the consequences of different quality of desire. But we are learning this ABC in uh, during spiritual education, and getting not only spiritual theoretical understanding, but implementing this in a devotional service, favorable activities meant to satisfy Krishna. We are learning how to mold our desire in order to distinguish different qualities of desire. Or this desire is not very favorable, but this desire is very favorable. So enhance in, in the heart of immature devotee, desire what she learned in material world can be very destructive, like scalpel in immature, unqualified person. But what happens when somebody is qualified and mature enough to know how to navigate the scalpel? So, in other words, what can happen in case of mature devotee who is spiritually strong, not only not only enough spiritually knowledgeable experience, but also because of this is spiritually mature and strong. So for sure, he is not cultivating the same desire like this non-devotee or immature devotee who just came and he's not aware of different qualities of desire. So he's not cultivating desire to work very hard to get big wealth that I can enjoy. No, this person is thinking, I am servant of God. So my role as a servant of God is to not only learn how I can utilize everything around in God's creation to serve God with my love and devotion. But in order to know how I can utilize everything in Krishna's service, I need to be mature and knowledgeable how to use everything. Otherwise, what type of servant I am? If I don't know. Oh, I don't know how to use it. Oh, also I don't know how to use it. I'm not a good servant. So this means that we need to learn the skills. But in order to learn skills, we need to also first purify our heart to develop and cultivate pure desire. So desire we have, but this desire is contaminated. As soon as we understand this, then we will work internally to purify our desire and cultivate proper desire. So then when we have contact with wealth, so we know, well, this wealth is not meant for my enjoyment. This wealth is meant to satisfy Krishna, to serve Krishna, and dovetail this to glorify Krishna and spread Krishna's glories all over the world. So completely different model.
I'll do the mic drop for him. Granta Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sipapad ki jai, Gaur Pamanande Hari Hari Bo Shishi, Radha Damodar Lita, Vishakta Devi Nita Gaura Sundara ki jai, Jagannath Baladev Shivada Pancha Srimad Bhagavan ki jai. Ah,
Shri Guru Charana Padma Evala Sama
Guru Chan,
Shri Guru Charana Padma Evala
Chan,
Yes. Yeah, pretty lucky and it's almost like beyond. That I be staying on
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhupada Bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness word emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes, fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. The Vedic scripture seems character, our spiritual master, the ocean mercy, the friend of the poor, and Lord and Master of the devotee. O Master, please be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your worlds, we take shelter of your lotus feet.